Good morning, buddy. Good morning. Hi. Good morning. Boop. It's a good thing that it doesn't hurt when you bite or scratch, because I'd be in trouble. Boop. Hey, Becca C. Smith here, and today I am doing a vlog on taking all my beta feedback and trying to incorporate it into Hexsphere. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to do it all in one day, and there are a couple people that have emailed me and said that they're going to be giving me the beta feedback later this week. So obviously I'll still have to go through that, but I've gotten enough. I've gotten like five people have gotten back to me, so I'm really excited to dig in and address all of these notes. They've all been fantastic, really rang true. You know how it is when you get certain notes and you're like, oh yeah. And then what's interesting is how some people interpreted certain things, which made me realize I wasn't clear in how I described it or how I presented it. So that's also good, just even having people ask questions or I can tell that they interpret it differently makes me realize that, okay, I need to fix that up so that doesn't happen again. But I'm going to try and do it amongst all this stuff. We are going back to Toronto. We'll be there probably about 7 or 8 months, depending on if the show goes over. But we are moving out of this apartment. So, of course, we found this out just like, I don't know, like yesterday. And so we've already bought boxes. I've already taken down some of the books, but mainly the objective today after working on Hexsphere will be to organize this all my fabric. It's somewhere in there, by the way, is Snake. So this should become a game. Oh, there he is. The game. Spot the snake. All right. Oh yeah, and if you want to see how super nerdy we are, we have an Airtable document that we've started for every single box and what's in it. Yeah, because we've moved so many times and then had to sort of live out of storage for a while, like because we live in our RV when we get back. It's just better to know what's in every box, because otherwise you're literally just opening boxes trying to find stuff. A million times the charm. All right, I'm gonna get to going through beta feedback and starting my edits. I have got Hina here. We're gonna do some sprints. I did some work, but then I decided I was going to work out and do the elliptical and take a shower. So now I am ready to work. Hello. Oh, this is probably gonna be like one of those. There we go. Yay! Okay, so what are you gonna work on?
Chapter 6.
Oh! And there's only 10 chapters, right, in this book?
In this first book,
okay,
yeah.
Because they're really long. Yeah.
They're really long chapters, like 20,000 words was the last one.
Oh my
God. This one's only 8,000 so far.
As I talked about earlier on my blog, I am working on my edits with Hexsphere, and I've got all my beta feedback up right here on the side, and I've already done a little bit of work, but now I'm gonna really dive in because sprints help so much.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do our usual, which is 2-2, 2-2. All the twos. All right, so here we go. I just finished with Hina, and what I realized is I was able to go through pretty much everybody's notes and comments and all that. So I made an actual list of scenes I want to add. The general consensus is that I always like to write in a slow burn kind of way and then lead up to the action so that the last half of the book is more intense, just more intense, boom, 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 and then the first half is more of the slow burn. But I think it was a little too slow of a burn, a little too much maybe exposition, repetitive thoughts, things like that. So essentially I just made a document, especially focusing on those first 15 chapters on things I can cut back on, like exposition, maybe actually creating a scene to show certain things as opposed to just having it an internal thought by a character. So I'm actually I'm having a lot of fun. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for the next few hours is I'm kind of just going to pack. I'm going to maybe even work on, oh, I should show you guys. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard of, it's called a nap dress. Like it's supposedly so comfortable that you can take a nap in it. Anyway, I looked it up just because I was curious because I read this article about it and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this dress is adorable, right? $150. And I'm thinking, I bet you I've seen this dress a million times since the 70s, right? So I looked up a pattern. I found one almost identical. I just have to make the sleeve pattern myself, which shouldn't be a problem. But I can do it with nerd fabric. And since I'm going to Comic-Con end of July, I'm going to make it for Comic-Con. So I did end up finding a pattern. So as you can see, it's literally almost identical. I just have to fix the sleeves. And then for fabric, I got Day of the Dead Star Wars. I think it's gonna be adorable, hopefully. So I might work on that a little bit because I really, really want to, I don't know, just have fun thinking of oh, I could add that. I've already come up with some fun scenes that I think will be good. Like I've added a little bit more of the romance scenes. I've added a little bit of like some chemistry scenes. I think the plot is exactly where I want it to be, but the character development, the interpersonal moments, I don't know. I think there's a lot of room for some fun stuff. So yeah, so for the next couple hours, I'm going to eat lunch, percolate, and maybe cut out some fabric. Okay, I have to organize all my fabric and then decide what I'm bringing to Toronto and what I'm putting in storage. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna make while I'm in Toronto before I even go to Toronto. But that's okay. I mean, there are fabric stores in Toronto, so worst case scenario, if I need to get more fabric, I can get more fabric. But just sitting here kind of sorting through my fabric, I did think of some cool scenes. I'm really starting to feel this, these first 15 chapters. I'm going to be putting more of the trackers, just more juicy stuff. And that way we can kind of see more of the world building, but also more of the characters. I have to think of it more as a screenplay than a book right now. Just it's helping my brain because you can't do inner thoughts in a TV show or a movie unless you're doing narration, and that's obviously not what I want. So how would I convey the same points if I could only do it through action or dialogue? And that's actually really, really helping me come up with some really fun moments, scenes that I think will be really cool and really beef up and make the first 15 chapters a lot more compelling. And Snake is getting into the fabric. He just, you can't have all this fabric around without Snake getting into it. Most of my fabric in fabric 1 and 2, and I have it listed in the screen that is now blank, but I'm bringing all of this and all of this to Toronto. Not too bad. Not too bad for me anyway. I think I brought a lot more last time. But I did get several more scenes done. I also wanted to talk about that there was one thing, it's funny because there's like this joke that I thought was I found amusing. But like a couple of people were like, I feel like you do this a little too much. And I always forget in screenwriting, there's a rule that when you have like a joke or some kind of thing that needs to be reiterated, you should only mention it 3 times, because you don't want the viewer to, just be like, okay, we get it. So I'm gonna be limiting that to 3, so I have to figure out which 3 places I want to keep it in. But yeah, I'm coming up with some good scenes. I'm excited. I feel like I'm getting to know the characters even more, which is crazy. So far, going through the beta notes has been super helpful. And yeah, and I think that's all I'm going to do today in terms of the beta feedback. I feel like coming up with the scenes, going through the notes has been great. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to dive in. So this 1-day vlog has now turned into 2-day vlog. So I'm going to say adieu for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day, and I've been percolating and moving boxes everywhere. As you can see, my closet is almost empty. I just have that one shelf to go, so that's good. But actually, it was really good moving yesterday because it really did help me think of scenes, and it really helped me clarify what I need to do. I know that the story structure is cemented in, but what's missing, I think, is a little bit more of the character juiciness that I love in books, and I'm thinking it's just kind of missing in those first 15 pages. I think I got too hung up on the plot and making sure that this beat happens to lead up to the end. So we'll see how far I get, but I'm ready to dive in. Started working some scenes, and I'm really liking them. And then I got my last beta feedback in from Sam she has a YouTube channel, you should check her out, Sam on a Mission. And oh my gosh, it made me so inspired. She said a lot of the same things that the other betas brought up about, especially those first 10 to 15 chapters, but it was so thorough. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It made me feel like I was on the right path. It was like one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I have a plan, and then I got her feedback and I'm like, oh, what if it's gonna be the opposite of everything that I'm already doing, and then I read it and I'm all like, oh my God, yes. And it just made me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. So I'm really excited to expand the world, expand the characters, and just make it a lot of fun. Because that's what it is, it's a popcorn book. That's the kind of books I write, because that's the kind of stuff I love to read. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get myself a snack, and then I'm going to write more scenes. I think I am done for the day, but after all these revelations, thinking I'm going to change certain things, adding scenes here and there, which is great, and from everybody else's notes, those first 15 chapters are an issue, and I figured out why they're an issue. It's because originally I had only written it in one character's POV, and then later when I decided, and I'd written 8 chapters of it so far, and then when I decided to make it 2 POVs, I had to thread in those chapters, which ended up being 15 chapters, which is crazy because everyone always says 15, like the first 15 chapters. So it makes sense. It makes sense. So I am redoing the whole first chunk. Like, obviously I'm keeping a lot of stuff, but things like there's a character that breaks into vaults. I talk about how she does it. I'm just gonna show it. Like, I'm gonna break it up in, like, I have everything happening in one day for the big I think for those first 15 chapters. It's gonna end up being a few days. Like, I am taking the advice that I'm getting from the betas and breaking it up. So it is a lot of work, mostly to that first third of the book, but I think it's going to be really good. I've got stuff now planned that I'm really excited for. More confrontations, more cutesy love stuff, more, but still staying true to the story and the structure. So it's a lot, but honestly, I don't think I would have done it without getting the beta feedback I did from, it was 6 people, from these 6 people. So I appreciate it so much. And I think my book's going to be a lot better because of it. Hopefully. I could just be like, why did you do that? You know, I'm keeping the previous draft, so you know, if I end up messing it all up, I still have that original draft. But either way, this is why betas are so great, because they really make you reevaluate your own story, and they still help you to tell the story you want to tell. It's just kind of like, hey, this is what's throwing me off, and hey, maybe if you did this, it would work a little bit better. It's so valuable. I cannot recommend it enough. Okay guys, well that is it for me, and I have got a lot of work ahead of me. I'll probably vlog some of it, but honestly, I gotta dig deep and get going. But that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!